we have one last guy standing on the battlefield for Orbit. It is Jumpy, and he's gonna go down in the apps too. And let me quickly check who that player is. Is he a stand-in? Nope, he is Snappy. No problem. So he probably changed his nickname, but it just is a delay or a bug in-game, so we'll have to wait. Or maybe we'll have to just remember that it is Snappy. So, now that we have a pause, we have a little bit of time to talk about important things. So my name is NeuroIntegrator, this is GameAgents League, and we have Copenhagen Wolves, Orbit, Gamers2, and Dignitas in the playoffs. The next match is going to be Dignitas versus Gamers2. Then the losers will play in the losers match, then the winners will play in the winners match, and then it's going to be the grand finals, which is in the double best of 3 format. Yes, yes. Because the team coming in from the upper bracket has one best of 3 advantage, so they just need to win 1 to win the whole series, and the team coming from the lower brackets has to win 2 best of 3s in a row. There's at most 2 best of 3s, no more, and possibly less. So yeah, that would be it. The second very important thing for tonight is after 2 matches tonight, after Gamers2 versus Dignitas, we will have a Flip Knife Fade Factory New giveaway that I will have in my inventory after this game. So yeah, I think you guys should be hyped up for that. If you want to win the Flip Knife Fade Factory New, that's the last chance. You can sub to the channel to get a chance to get a shot at that. So yeah, good luck, have fun everyone, and we are continuing with the match. Copenhagen Wolves, of course, after they have won the pistol round, will have some weapons in their hands, and MP9s in the hands of Fries and Hunden. As you can see, the slight buff that SMGs got in the previous patch actually make us see them much more. As I casted Copenhagen games too, there was a lot of people playing with MP7s and MAC-10s. Usually it was the T side, but now even on the CT we can see that some people decide to buy the MP9s. So that's always an interesting thing to see. You can see some new stuff in the CSGO. And that always is awesome. Yeah, the sub count doesn't matter anyway, since we will have the giveaway. Some people's subs may have run out already, and they didn't resub. But the giveaway is scheduled, and it will be after the second match tonight, no matter what. Yes, giveaway is only for subs. And anyway, let's go. Freeze with the entry frag with that MP9, so already plus $600 is a very good thing right there. But Lipton takes out the Cillian with the Deagle. You couldn't actually see that, but now Hunden with a simple spray with that MP9 finds 2 frags very quickly, consecutively, and oh, the bomb will be planted at the very last second, because first of all, he almost got killed by Snappy in time. Second of all, there was just 1 second left on the clock. So beautifully played right there. They managed to plant the bomb in an eco, so definitely happy. Plus $800 for the whole team of Orbit. While on the other hand, Copenhagen Wolves are still quite glad with all the frags that they got with the MP9s. 4 frags in the round were gathered up by the MP9s, so it gives them $2,400 overall, which is $1,200 more than they would get with pistols, FAMASs, M4s, whatever else, P90s, because sometimes people bought P90s recently in the anti-ecos, like for example NIP. Get right, likes to pick up that weapon after they won the pistol. Jumpy, well, trying to peek at Snappy right there, but doesn't hit the shots, and actually doesn't even see his foe while he gets shot through that wooden bar in the door, where the door actually should be. Anyway, he loses a lot of his health, left on just 25, and well, that's a frag for Pith on Banana. Even though one of his teammates dies, it doesn't matter since he will pick up that M4, and that is a much better situation from now on for Orbit. They can try to find some frags from now on, and picking up a little bit more weapons would give them maybe even a round win. Jumpy finds this frag, and that's 2 M4s. Now it is a 4-on-3, and Freeze doesn't seem to have anything in his pocket right there, just a Tech 9, so that's a very good thing for Orbit. But then Freeze and Snappy find themselves a couple frags, and Freeze with the backstab on Jumpy. They didn't even find that one out, even though he got 1 frag before. He didn't even look that way, so very unfortunate for Orbit. Yeah, they picked up 2 M4s. That was already a very good situation, but they didn't manage to close it out, and it will be 3-0 in favor of Copenhagen Wolves. Now it will be a full buy for Orbit finally though, so let's see what they can do. Broke with the AWP will get obliterated by Freeze in the middle. And it begins with a 5-on-4 in favor of CW once again, so Copenhagen Wolves looking extremely good at the very beginning of this first map. Yeah, someone changed the exclamation mark maps command. She's not good. Well, a little bit of a headshot right there on Hunden. Down to 39, but that's not as bad as Kabam, who is on 5 HP right now. 1 shot from anything will take him out, and even a very sloppy nade can do that one too. And wow, quick can get scanned through that smoke. Very unfortunate for this guy. Tried to not even go for the bomb site, just for the CT spawn to maybe try and do some stealthy, sneaky peeky tactics from there, but didn't really manage to do that. A little bit of spray and pray through the smoke takes him out, and Freeze enters from Ruins. Will take that one frag, then Snappy with the last frag of the round, and it will be 4-0 in favor of Copenhagen. So they are kicking that match off very, very confidently, and that looks just great. But still, it is the CT side of Inferno. It is expected that they would maybe not be so dominant, but would win at least. Let's see what Orbit can stay until the ending of this first half, because that's still very important. If they can find 4 or 5 rounds, it still is quite okay. But if it's going to be Copenhagen just racking up round after round after round without Orbit doing anything, it will just be very scary for the Swedish lineup, to say the least. They have to come up with something. On the CT side, okay, might be a little bit better, but they need to get something until they get to the second half. Pit on Banana finally kills Hunden right there, but it's just Hunden. It wasn't Asilian, who always goes out into the Banana, gets 1 or 2 frags, and then maybe goes down, or maybe doesn't even go down, just falls back to the side. So if they manage to take out Asilian there on Banana, then most probably Orbit will just decide to go for B, because he's the most dangerous man right there. And he always just completely annihilated their pushes. Jumpy now with 2 frags in the Archers area. Opens up both sides actually for CW. There's just 1 man on B, 1 man on A, and SMF will get taken out on A, so this will be their site of choice. But now they want to look for Asilian. He already found 1. So he is down very low on health. And the question is, will they be able to find him without losing anything else? Because, okay, if someone dies to him, they will be able to take the frag without any big problems. But if he kills someone, then that's a very bad thing for Orbit yet again, because they don't have a lot of money, and it turns out that Jumpy finishes the round with 3 frags. Doesn't even lose a single point of health to Asilian right there, so no problem. Very well played by Orbit, and Jumpy being the man that almost single-handedly won this round for his team. So Congratulations, Orbit. But now, a little bit more teamwork, because you cannot win all the rounds with just one player. Something will always go wrong. Now, Piff once again with the entry, and now they take out a Cillian, so beautifully played. Rogue in the apps. Jumps on the balcony and finds yet another one. And now Orbit is in a 5-on-3. CW has to go for some crazy plays if they want to come back. That's it. They have to push. They have to catch Orbit off guard to get a couple more refrags so they can fight on even chances. Still a 4-on-3 in favor of Orbit, but at least they came back with this one frag on Whitman. But the bad thing is there's just Hunden on B. And he just has a 5-7, so if the T's decide to enter this side, he will practically be helpless. Piff going for that smoke, but waiting for his teammates to throw a couple more. Now, England doesn't have just this 5-7, well, also has a molly, but this gets extinguished by the smoke. That's extremely unfortunate for England, but then he still finds 2 frags with great headshots in that 5-7. That's beautiful pistol work. Then there was enough time for the rest of Copenhagen also to rotate towards that side, and indeed, they need to go for some crazy plays to come back in the round. They managed to do that, and then Hunden, even though he loses his molly the very first second the T's enter, still manages to find 2 headshots, and that's what saved them the round. Because okay, the rotation was there from the rest of CW, but had he not scored any frags, it would be a very different story. He would have to play extremely carefully and not just go for the frags through the smokes. It's just the first map, guys. It is Inferno. It will be Mirage as the second one, and the third one will be Nuke. And I'm extremely hyped up for Nuke. That's one of my favorite maps to see, as James also said. Quite recently, some people just laughed at him because Nuke is maybe not so exciting for all the people, but I just like this map. I don't know. So I'm definitely hyped up to see 3 maps right here, because Nuke is just getting replaced with Train. So I want to get at least a little bit of that before it happens. Jumpy extinguishes freeze right there in the arches, but then Snappy answers with the frag. So now Jumpy will not be that godlike man that wins the round for his team. Cillian finds a couple of T's running into the side, but he doesn't manage to kill anyone. At least Piff at just 36 points of health, so maybe it will be a little bit easier frag later on. 3-on-4 now. The tables have turned on Orbit. But they are in much better after plant positions right now in this round. Kabam with 2 frags already. That's the replacement for the match. So at least does something for the team. Hitting the last man standing behind the quad. Tries to fight, but up against 2 players of Copenhagen also. It will not be too easy. Up against 1, okay, it's doable. But up against 2, when they are rushing you from both sides, it's completely not doable. And it will be yet another round for Copenhagen also. Okay, Orbit have a little bit of something at least, but they just won 1 round and then lost the following one. So they have no money at all, and that hurts them a lot. And now they still have to get 3, 4, 5 more rounds if they want to have a comfortable situation after the first half. And it's not looking too good up until now. Of course, the big thing is losing the pistol round. You lose the pistol round, you lose the 3 easy round that you should be able to get on your T side. Then it's much harder in the gun rounds. But as you could see, Orbit is still doing a great job with Pith and Jumpy getting huge entries. Now they have to wait it out, ecoing. Then when they finally buy the AKs, they just have to hope to go for the same thing. With Pith getting an entry on Banana, Jumpy opening up the arches, and then you can go A, you can go B, everything is wide open for you, and you can do whatever you like. Well, now that he's waiting in the middle, they are trying to enter, but nope. First of all, the smoke. Second of all, the molly, just zoning them out. They cannot really do anything at all just yet. But still, 5 of them are alive. Asilian is a little bit lower on health than 100. And with Tech 9s, they can still find the headshots, and that's extremely dangerous. Oh, freeze! Waits, but just gets 1. And that's not going to be enough. Kabam and Jumpy with 2, though. And they will be able to pick up the weapons right now. That's 1 AK for Rogue. That's nothing for Kabam and Hitten just yet, but they will be looking for the weapons dropped in the site. Now the bomb is already planted. Rogue with that AK will already be able to do a lot, especially from the pit area, with a little bit of coverage from Hitten inside of the site. And actually, Hitten is running away. Doesn't want to pick up that fight. 1v2. And that is going to be an eco round win for Orbit, and that was almost a clean eco. Okay, they haven't played with Glocks, but they didn't have Kevlars too. So Orbit must be extremely happy right now. They took almost no effort, economical effort at least, to win this round, and they did get it with the bomb plant too. The bomb has exploded, so that's even more money for these guys. And 6-2 right now is looking much better than it was just a couple of seconds ago. Jumpy, being the jumper that his nickname suggests, just jumps into the middle and finds the frag and freeze. That's extremely hard shots to take, and he actually manages to win that fight. Gets dropped to just 50 points of health, which is not too bad, while going for the kamikaze strats. Just 15 points of health on Snappy right now. Hunden on just 33. It's looking like yet another easy round for Orbit, but let's see if we can finish off the frags. But instead, Jumpy just shoots his teammate through the leg, which does not help at all. And Hütten gets dropped to 72 points of health just like that. But that's still not too bad. It could have been a headshot. It could have been a kill. SMF goes down to Rogue, and that's going to be the bomb site A wide open for terrorists. Actually, there's one more CT standing in there. Oh! But he gets found by Rogue with just the corner of his screen. But still, he goes down. He was very low on health, so he was just hoping for at least one frag for his team. Didn't even manage to pull that off. So, very, very bad for Copenhagen Wolves. Getting a little bit unlucky in fights like Jumpy versus Freeze right there in the middle. And then when Rogue was entering the site, just barely spotted this one guy waiting for the frag. Kabam finds Asilian, but not before he takes out Rogue. So at least something for the T's, but still that's not too good. And Hunden now lets T's know where he is. Was very low on health, so they could have tried to scan through something. But it was still a little bit too late for Orbit to find that frag. But it doesn't matter. It was just a CZ75 for Hunden. He still doesn't have a lot of money. He just had a couple nades. That's the most important thing. The nades, the defuse kit, and the Kevlar. Because CZ is pretty much nothing at that stage. So he just cared about the Kevlar most importantly. So now he can try to look for some close range fights to maybe pick up one weapon. And with that Kevlar and a weapon, he suddenly becomes a significant guy in the Copenhagen Wolves defenses. Cillian now behind that fountain. Once again trying to be a little bit sneaky, ball. Well, that molly was a little bit close. Still, Pip just runs into the side and finds the frag without any big struggles, without any big problems, like he was expecting he would be sitting behind that fountain. That's incredible. The bomb is planted. Hunden with just one frag, but it doesn't matter at all. Okay, he is the guy with the Kevlar, but he got dropped to 9 points of health when he was trying to get that frag, so even if he picks up the weapon, he's still a little bit useless. But once again, they are just trying to save it up. So it will be SMF with the AK, and Hunden, had he picked up a weapon, would be a little bit better. Would be 2 rifles for CW, but now we have one of the key players dropping out of the game, which creates a little bit more of a delay, but as you could see, Hunden just run to spawn and he didn't find a weapon. So that's no big loss for Orbit, but at least let's hope that he manages to come back, because that's the most important thing. If he gets DDoSed, that's not good, because there is a chance, quite a significant chance, that he may not be able to come back, and they will have to find a replacement. But usually people wait for that till the last second, so it creates a huge delay and makes us wait and wait and wait and get bored with the match and what is going on the screen. So let's hope that they will be able to get him back as quickly as possible. For now, it is 6-4 and Orbit. As we said at the very beginning of the match, it was like 5-0 in favor of Copenhagen, but we said that Orbit have to do their best. They have to come back with at least a couple rounds, because it looked like they didn't have chances of even taking anything after that first gun round, where they, I don't know, how many frags did they get back then? 3 frags, okay, that's quite good, but still, it wasn't so impressive. But then they won this one round, that very impressive round, when Pith got the headshot on Banana and Jumpy with 3 frags in the arches. That was just very beautiful, and that was the sign that Orbit have finally woken up and they will be coming back very shortly. And that has happened. Now they have 4 rounds on their account, where Copenhagen Wolves were able to win just 1, actually 2. Okay, it was 4-0 and they came back with that 1 round win. Anyway, I got some info, some valuable info, that Orbit will be getting a stand-in, which might be a bad thing, a good thing. Anyway, it is going to be a big thing, because you get a stand-in, a fresh new player that isn't warmed up and doesn't really know what is going on in the game. Plus, you won't be 100% on point with him with the communication, which is definitely a significant thing. Maybe he is a standard stand-in for them, so he will at least understand the strats and what they are doing. Not necessarily what the enemy team is doing, but at least he will play with the team. But on the other hand, this can just be another lurker in the game who will be trying to find as many frags as possible. Will just try to disrupt the enemy team from doing anything harmful to his quote-unquote team, because he's just a stand-in, so it doesn't have to be his team anyway. But let's hope that at least Orbit isn't so negatively affected by that stand-in, that they will be able to do something. And BO3, welcome to the sub team. Once again reminding you guys, after the second match of the day, Gamers2 versus Dignitas, we will have a Flip Knife Fade Factory New giveaway. So it's definitely worth it to sub if you have a little bit of money right now, because it's getting very close to that giveaway, and the knife is just beautiful. And you'll definitely be happy with it if you get it. Okay, so waiting for the stand-in to come, because I got the info quite quickly that we will be getting a stand-in. So it should not be taking so long for him to come. But the bad thing is that we won't see Rogue, at least for this one map. Or maybe, if the stand-in gets DDoS or anyone else gets DDoS, then probably Rogue will just come back in the stead of this other guy. So yeah, just waiting and waiting for someone to enter the server. Anyway, we have Whitten with 10,000 money. We have Jumpy with 5. We have Kabam with 8k, over 8k, and also Piff with 5,400. So that's a lot of money. And yeah, they will be able to play for a long time, while on the other hand, Copenhagen, they don't have anything at all. They have to play with FAMASs already, and then there's the fact that they have $0 on Snappy and Freeze, for example. And the other thing is, they lied to me. They said that a stand-in is coming, but it's still Rogue. So let's see how it goes for Orbit. At least all the shenanigans with stand-ins not being 100% in sync with the team are not gonna be true. Yeah, so once again, having the weapons in their hands, Orbit is trying to look for that entry frag and banana, where they usually got it. Brilliant, found by Rogue right here. So, right after he got DDoS, he comes back in full rage mode on and just runs in for the frags. He's definitely fired up to get the round for his team. Doesn't want to be eliminated from the game. And there we go, 4-on-4 right now as Jumpy had to die. And Freeze, a running headshot right there on Kabam. It was a full run and he did get it. Well played for CW right there. And they get themselves a man advantage just like that. Why are we looking at Hunden? No idea at all, because the T's are trying to enter this bomb site A, and once again the auto-director switches to Hunden. I don't get it. SMF right here in the middle of the site, but Snappy will be the most important guy as he is protecting both short and the apps entrance, but the smokes are there, and Orbit is just trying to take CW by surprise, but SMF inside of the site is just getting all the frags with a little bit of help from Freeze, and I thought that Snappy is going to be a vital player in that fight, but in the end, he didn't even manage to do anything at all. Okay, maybe that's what they meant, that someone else got DDoS and the stand-in will be coming instead of that guy. Because there's still the GoTV delay, and I know what will happen like 3 minutes later or even more. So yeah, welcome everyone to the stream. This is the GameAgents League Season 1 with the semi-finals already of the upper bracket, because we have an upper and a lower bracket. So the losers will still not drop out of the tournament. They will still have a chance to come back in the grand finals. But for now, it is Copenhagen versus Orbit. The second match will be Gamers 2 versus Dignitas. That's what we have prepared for this evening, and I hope that you will be able to enjoy the match. My name is Neurointegrate, this is GameAgents TV. And so yeah, as always, just hoping that the problems will only be on the first map, as it is always very tiring for both you guys and me, and even for the players, even for the organizers, because they get stressed that the second match will not begin as scheduled and all that stuff. I get stressed because there's not a lot to talk about during the pauses, and you get stressed because it's just boring for you guys. You want to know the score, you want to know the outcome, you want to watch the match. Yes, it will be a stand-in for this guy that dropped out right now, and it was Jumpy. Every single time I'm just looking at the players throughout the whole match, and I know who is playing in the match because I always memorize it before, and I know the teams. That's the other thing that makes me know their names and all that stuff. But when someone drops out of the match, there's this who was that? So yeah, once again, my name is Neurointegrate. Since someone asked, my Facebook is what I primarily use, but I also have a Twitter. It's pretty much the same as my Facebook, so not a big problem to figure it out. Who is DDoSing? Yeah, who is DDoSing? Raise your hand right now. We'll find you anyway. So just admit it right now. Yep, Griefmaster is coming. He will be the stand-in most probably, as that's the info that I got and that you got in the chat too. So we'll see how he does in the match. And he joins the server. Griefmaster number 7. Let's take a look at this guy. Has a nice sweet mustache right there. I like him. 2,454 hours on record in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Well, he has to be at least quite good, I guess. Alright, we'll be getting back into the match quite shortly, hopefully. CW is already calling for an on-pause. But Griefmaster seems to still be warming up for talking about some things with the team on TeamSpeak and setting up the last commands in the game or something like that. But he just has $800 on his account right now. And after Orbit lost that previous round, their bank is not looking so good anymore. Joel's backup stand-in. Okay. Joel's is the guy that we definitely know much more than Griefmaster. Nice. That's not an answer that you would expect from people when you tell them that one of your players is getting DDoSed and they say nice. Not cool. That Rogue, after we get the stand-in, Griefmaster is in right now, but now Rogue is getting DDoSed, so we'll have to wait more and more and more and longer and longer and longer. I don't understand why people just DDoS the matches. It's completely pointless, it's useless, and anyway, anything that you could say about it negative. Because if the problems are too big, then maybe the match might be rescheduled or played offline without the stream, so you don't do anything to the bats and skins. Anyway, and the players, they are pros. They don't care about the DDoSes at all. They are still focused 100% in the game, and it doesn't matter. It just is a slight delay for them. As you can see, the stream began like 20 minutes after the scheduled time because everyone is used to the delays right here in the Counter-Strike Global Offensive scene. It just happens so often that it doesn't affect players at all. But yeah, let's go. We have round number 12, and now Snappy gets noticed by Griefmaster. And Griefmaster left on low health, but still manages to find that frag, so doesn't care at all. And now from the Archer's freeze gets taken out, and it will be just one man with Copenhagen on bomb site A. So the T's, of course, will be trying to enter that site, but now Piff gets dropped out of the game, and from a 4-on-3, it is a 3-on-3, and Copenhagen Wolves, they can play a little bit more aggressively. They can think of some more advanced strats at that stage, since they don't have to care about that one-man advantage. And it is a 3-on-2, and it is a 3-on-1, and Rogue drops. It is yet another round for Copenhagen Wolves, but yet another DDoS for Orbit. Actually, Piff already came back. Was it just his personal issue, or was it some external problem? That is the question. Yeah, anyway, Quitten will just be dropping Tech 9s. Is it Fnatic? Well, after the nerf, it's a little bit less effective, but let's see if they can find a couple of frags at least. Well, not much happening, just one guy and Banana from Orbit. There's Griefmaster trying to be the man in the front. So as I said, if it is a usual stand-in for the team, he will at least understand what they're doing. But if it is a man like Griefmaster, he'll just be running for the frags, most probably. He's staying in the front, he's staying as a decoy, so to say. Just stopping for a second because everything is going down. Looking at what is happening on the map, but there's not much to talk about. There's just Orbit running into the crosshairs of Copenhagen Wolves. Copenhagen Wolves just destroying, demolishing the Orbit's lineup. Of course it was an anti-eco, so they don't care at all. Just a couple of bullets to take someone out. 9-4 right now in favor of Copenhagen Wolves. On the other hand, Orbit did manage to buy up this round, so will they finally get around? That previous one was, 2 rounds before, it was very good. Round number 12 was extremely good for them, because they had a 4-on-3 situation. They had this bomb site A already wide open with just one guy defending it. It should be quite easy to take, but then Piff drops out. So now they have guns in their hands once again. Freeze is already down to 42 points of health. They have Piff alive in the team. If someone doesn't drop out again, it will be good. At least let's stick to that scenario, since they deserve to get around back because of that DDoS that made them lose one. And just the fair call. Griefmaster down to 29 though, so they did get a little bit of damage on Freeze. But in exchange, Copenhagen Wolves, they get a couple of shots on Griefmaster. And Piff, the man on Banana, still looking for someone right here. He almost always gets an entry frag on Banana, but this time around, CW is playing very passively. Piff now kills a Cillian, but then Freeze with the AWP beautifully plays that out and gets 3 frags already. There's just one more guy trying to plant the bomb. He will get that bomb plant, which will secure at least a little bit of money for Orbit in the upcoming round, and they will most probably have the money to buy up the AK since they lost a couple rounds in a row already. But still, it will be a round win for Copenhagen Wolves, and it is round number 15 right now already, so Orbit now or never, do or die. 11-4 will still be a very bad score for Orbit, but 10-5 is quite okay. So after the previous patch, now the M4A1S is, well, not to say much, because it's not much more expensive, but it's a little bit more expensive, and that already hurts the CT economy a little bit, and it's already quite bad anyway, so CW should definitely not get 11 rounds on that CT side anymore. Cillian with 2, and he's looking for more. He notices Griefmaster through that smoke, but doesn't matter since Kabom just runs into his crosshair. He will be able to stay alive, runs through that smoke and tries to shoot at Griefmaster, doesn't hit the frag. What goes down instead, Roke with a very good one, and he brings it back to a 2-on-2, and the bomb will be planted and Orbit can still win it. Now but Freeze spots Griefmaster jumping over to the dog. Roke finds that frag, but very unfortunately he doesn't look the right way, and SMF will finish him off. Now Griefmaster, they know where he is. He has to win that skill matchup, and SMF will most probably be better in this one, but Griefmaster gets the headshot. Of course he was expecting that. He's just coming right at his face, because he knew that he got spotted by Freeze. He had that AWP shot that was aimed at him, but I didn't expect him to win in that situation. Just too much pressure right there, too much information on your enemy, and you don't really know when he's gonna come. But he still got the round win for his team. And as I said, it was a do or die for Orbit. Beautifully played by Griefmaster. Definitely very happy with that. Who's that? We have 6 people in the Orbit lineup right now. Now Griefmaster disappears. It will be Boom Bam in the Orbit lineup. And any person that actually has a brain will come to the conclusion that it is Jumpy coming back, because as you can see in the scoreboard, he already has 8 frags, so he already played in that match. And you can easily assume that it's just the same guy coming back. And let's see. Orbit now on the CT side. Oh. Ooh, Hunden! What a great headshot right there. So it seemed like a very interesting thing from Kabam to just go rush middle and try to find an entry frag, but then a jump shot from Hunden just completely shuts him down in his tracks. Gets annihilated right there. Billion now trying to shoot at it, but unfortunately through his teammates. But still manages to find 2 frags, so is definitely happy with that. Doesn't care about the team damage anyway. Oh, and Jumpy gets caught by a Snappy right there. And it will be a 3-on-1. A Rogue probably cannot win in such a situation, especially with a CZ75. He's just looking for close range fights, 1-on-1s, not a 1-on-3. And CW will definitely not run at him and will not give him the frags. SMF on just 9 points of health, Asilian on 24, so these were frags that he might have taken, but not really. He didn't go for that. He didn't have enough info. He didn't want to go, as I said, for a 1v3. That's just too dangerous with a CZ75, so he's just saving it up. And they will go for a force buy, as you usually do after losing the pistol round. Oh, nice headshot from Jumpy. Gets this one frag. Asilian goes down. That's 1 weapon for the taking, but it's Hunden who picks it up, not one of the Orbit players. And the frag was taken a little bit too far, and no one could approach that. Bomb deals a little bit of damage, doesn't get hit at all by that. So definitely looking great, and Hunden with the nade in his hand just runs straight at Kabam, and now this weapon will not get picked up. At least it will be a Galil lying on the ground. Just gets taken out by Fisto. Oh, but Jumpy still right there in the connector and finds this one frag. A headshot on Sappy. Now with their UMP kills SMF, but now it's down to Freeze, and Freeze will be able to plant the bomb. In a 1v3 though, he will just get overwhelmed by his enemies, runs at Jumpy, but then one of the CTs is probably already defusing the bomb, so he does not have time to have fun with Jumpy in the middle. And it will be a round win for Orbit. They win the anti-eco. And even on long range, that CZ is able to take the entry frag and destroy the plans of Copenhagen for that round. So definitely well played by Orbit, but they're still... Okay, it's not mixed. I thought that Kabam doesn't have the money to buy up, and he will be playing with a 5-7. He does pick up an AK from one of his teammates though, and he will be happy. So yeah, they did save up 2 weapons, or even 3 weapons from that previous round. Because Jumpy had 1 AK, then they killed this last guy standing. So they picked up his weapon after he died, but didn't notice them finding that third one. And that's a great thing. Saving up 3 AKs gives them a lot of money to work with. And we don't expect them to lose this one, but actually Freeze with a weapon already, and now Hunden finds the frag on Rogue, and Jumpy, and picks this one up. Rogue with a frag of his own from Spores, and he manages to fall back. I expected him to be the guy set up aggressively right there in the corner at the B-side entrance. Now Snappy just covering the back to give info to Freeze, who has an AK in his hands, to not expose him to any unnecessary danger. And that will be great after plan positions for Copenhagen Wolves, and I don't see Orbit standing chances right here, but actually Kabam wins 2 frags right there in the site. However, the time runs out, and he will even go now to the bomb, so that's definitely not worth it. And yep, the AK was thrown by Freeze over to Snappy, so they don't lose the very precious weapon, and CW take yet another round. So yeah, I didn't expect the CW to win that eco round, but they did. It rarely happens. When one team wins that eco when they shouldn't, it already is a miracle, but then the second team coming back with the same thing, that just very rarely happens. And once again, a guy drops out from the Orbit lineup, so okay, it's not so significant as they didn't even buy up the Kevlars, so the chances are very, very small, even smaller than previously for winning this round. But still, Kabam finds 1 frag, then he takes the time of the tease for long enough for Hutten to find yet another frag, and now they have chances of picking up the weapons and going for something 3-on-3. Hutten looking for that headshot, unfortunately cannot find it just yet. Oh, he stops for a second to try and aim, but just doesn't seem to find it. Hunden just shot at him with 1 bullet through the box. And once again, that lack of Kevlar just completely destroyed his aim. But now Rogue with 1 frag. Freeze on 32, not 33. And Hunden on 35, but Rogue gets killed. Very unfortunate for Orbit. And now it turns out that losing this 1 man was just very crucial. Had they not lost him, they would most probably be able to take 60 more damage, deal 60 more damage actually, and win this round. Even without the Kevlars, they did it great. And now it is a 1-on-1 at the very beginning of this round. Piff, peeking at the balcony, manages to take out Freeze, but then Snappy answers the favor. Bomb kills Hunden in the middle, but then he tries to re-peek at Snappy, that he should not have done. And it gives, well, not an advantage, at least, but he gives back a very important frag, which just shouldn't happen. Snappy still being very careful on that banana, even though there's just Rogue inside of the site, who's even going for the flashbangs, so gives a little bit more info to his enemies. But with that, Incendiary just zones them out of the site for a little bit more and gives the time for Griefmaster to rotate. but it gets smoked off. But Griefmaster is just spamming through the smoke. Castillion goes down to Rogue, and Rogue looking for the frag with the USB. Doesn't manage to take it, but doesn't matter. Griefmaster is already running through the smoke, getting SMF, getting Snappy, and winning the round for Orbit. And why would you not play with a stand-in when Griefmaster is just so good? He won a clutch in round number 15. The last round of the first half, and now he won a clutch in round number 20 for his team, so just good to play with a stand-in, it seems. Oh, Rogue now under heavy fire right there, but doesn't even get hit. He's losing one single point of Kevlar. Fifth and Tabam now in the middle, finding one frag each. Fifth still spamming through the smoke. He doesn't have a lot of ammo in that M4, so he has to be careful and conserve a little bit of it at least, to have some more for the shootout. When it comes to some fights, Castillion and SMF, two last men standing, but SMF with a huge headshot tries to at least bring it back. 2-on-3, but now it's just left on 3 points of health. Castillion with just 15. One shot on both of them kills them, even with just a pistol. And they will be entering Banana, where two players of the CT lineup are, and well, Griefmaster again gets 2 frags for the team. In such a situation, maybe it was quite easy, but still, that's 2 frags each round. Sums up to a lot of money, first of all. Second of all, a lot of damage to their enemies. And third of all, most probably 2-1 rounds, as 2 frags is much more than you could expect from one guy, if you can take it as granted. Wow. Orbit once again trying to go for the pause. Round number 22 already. Copenhagen Wolves with 13. Orbit with 8. And Piff with the entry frag. It is going to be an eco round for CWO. Piff has to be very careful right now. Loses that M4. But Snappy just runs into the crosshair quickly. Didn't want to stop. Didn't want to fall back into the grenades. Was probably following up on a lost rifle, but instead just went down and gave yet another frag to Orbit. And it will be 39, but Orbit still called for a pause, so let's see what is going on. Nothing just yet. Ping is quite okay. Okay, I'll bring up the scoreboard, as you probably weren't able to see that for too long. I don't know, I learned a weird habit of not showing the scoreboard lately, because at the very beginning of my CSGO casting career, I was just bringing up the scoreboard more than enough. Because I didn't really know what to talk about for all the time, so I just brought up the standings and said, yeah, this guy has 52 points, because I cared more about the score than about the kills and deaths and assists and all that stuff. I was like, yeah, this guy has 52 points, so he's definitely good. He will be the MVP of this match, yeah. Which made no sense at all, but now, actually, matches when players are DDoSed give me the time to show you the standings, the scoreboard. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Remains to be judged by you guys. Anyway, if we get a little bit more of a delay, I'll talk a little bit more about the DDoSes, because I said that players are just used to the delays, to the DDoSes, and they don't really care about it at all, but that's the thing. Now, another pause from Orbit, one more guy drops out, and it's a 5-4 at the very beginning of the round for Copenhagen Wolves, without them doing anything at all. Who drops out? It is Rogue yet again. Jumpy is out of the match. Rogue is out of the match. Jumpied out of the match. Anyway, Castillion finds the entry frag, and it's a 5-on-3 with so little effort from CW. Master finds one. Yet again, this guy is just incredible. SMF takes him out though. And it's a 4-on-2, but Griefmaster, every single time something bad happens for Orbit, he manages to do something to compensate for that. He doesn't care if he's in a 1v3, 1v4, or anything. He manages to find this one or maybe two frags. And he's just a stand-in for the team that doesn't usually play with them. Pith, the last man standing, will definitely be trying to save up the weapon. And I just got some info that Rogue will not be coming back to this match. It will be Rape. Another guy that might be known by you guys. He also is playing in one of, not top teams, but better teams. Because by top teams, I understand teams like NIP, Fnatic, Virtus Pro, TSM. But teams like Orbit and CW are definitely still good teams. They are pro teams. Yeah, Griefmaster is actually good, as someone says in the chat. So guys, just a quick reminder. It is CW versus Orbit. It is map number 1. The second map will be Mirage, the third nuke if needed. The second best of 3 will be Gamers 2 versus Dignitas. And after the second best of 3, we will be giving away a Flip Knife Fade Factory New. So if you have a little bit of money, just go ahead and sub to the channel. You still have a chance to enter the giveaway of that Flip Knife Fade Factory New. Good guys, Orbit, actually. They didn't ask about any money for Griefmaster when he entered the match, so he had to start over with $800, but with the second stand-in, they cannot really take the money loss. They need a little bit of that. Okie. That's a cool word actually, if you think about it. An Okie guy. Probably someone packed with muscles. I expect that. It would look like that. Cool. Or actually, maybe he's just trying to get the SOT money. But seeing Rape disconnected just in my mind looks like, oh my god, another guy got DDoSed. If you have any questions, by the way, guys, just write them in the chat. I'll be very glad to answer anything. If you want to know anything about me, if you want to know anything about the tournament, if you want to know anything about the games, go ahead and ask. This is GameAgents League Season 1 with 5,000 prize pool in dollars. And these are the semi-finals. First of all, Copenhagen Wolves versus Orbit. And second of all, it will be Gamers 2 versus Dignitas tonight. Then, winner versus winner and loser versus loser. We have a loser bracket right here. The final will be played in a double best of 3 setup. So the team coming from the upper bracket will have one best of 3 advantage. They have to win 1 to take the series. The team coming from the lower brackets, though, has to win 2 best of 3s to win the tournament. I don't think it's our server that causes the players to drop out of the game. It can cause lag, but not DDoS. And other than that, the players didn't even say a bad word about the server anyway. Well, yeah, but that might be a little bit of a problem, the watermark in the bottom left corner. But if anything important is said in the chat, I always say that on the stream, so no problem, guys. The positiveness of Pith. Rape disconnects, reconnects, I'm sorry, with still $800. The enemies just ask, did he get the money? And Pith is like, no, doesn't matter, let's just continue the match, we lost it anyway. Well, that's a little bit depressing. Still a very interesting approach. Oh, a Cillian, what a huge headshot. Griefmaster gets shot down, and that's the big guy in the Orbit's lineup that usually finds something for the team. Bomb goes down, but not before taking out the Cillian, so at least something for Orbit. But anyway, it seems like Pith's prophecy is going to be true. That they've already lost, but still they can come back to an overtime. However, that's very highly unlikely, as they just scrapped up a little bit of money to buy this time, and in the upcoming one they will not have anything at all. At least that's what I expect. Yes, they just lost the previous round after a winning streak, so not looking good at all. They don't have a lot of money, they just have 900 on Hütten. They will be trying to save up the weapons, and maybe they can find some FAMASs then, but it still is not looking good at all for that team. The bomb goes off, it will be CW taking round number 15. And they blocked themselves in the door. However, they weren't even looking for the weapons. They are a little bit afraid themselves of losing the AKs. So well played by Copenhagen Wolves, not taking unnecessary risks. Just why? Because it's going to be the last round. You know that your enemies don't have too much money, so don't give them anything else. Not being greedy at all, and 2 CTs on B, 3 CTs on A, the usual setup. We have a Deagle in the hands of Griefmaster, so we'll be looking for the one. Headshot, he finds one, he kills Hunden, and the other guy on Banana was blinded by the flashbang, so beautifully played by Griefmaster yet again. And Griefmaster, he's just such a good stand-in. Like 2 matches in a row that I've seen with stand-ins were actually better than the players that played before. So that's quite good to see. However, it still is a bad thing that we have to see the stand-ins anyway. Oh, Griefmaster with the second one. Pith also finds a frag, and now it is a 3-on-2. Very snappy and a Cillian up against Rape, Kabomb, and Hütten. So two stand-ins. And Hütten, the standard guy for Orbit. Snappy. Will get taken out by Kabomb right there, and doesn't even deal a lot of damage. Kabomb down to just 73. Rape takes the last frag on his Cillian, and the bomb will get defused. Orbit still in the game. They can still make it, they can still do it. Someone asked a very interesting question right there. I have a question. Can you give me a knife? Yes, just sub to the channel and I don't know, you won't have any bonus points in the giveaway, but if you are the newest sub, then technically you are one of the most obvious choices. I don't know. It's still random, but if you're the first one or the last one, it just looks fancy. The smokes, the flashes. And CW will be entering this bomb site B once again. Fifth catches them with their backs turned, but actually doesn't manage to find the frags. Reef Master with fit to know, they do. But then Hunden answers the favor, and it is a 3-on-3. Kabam is down to 35 points of health, but Whitten yet another headshot. Snappy goes down. Through that throw, he was just spamming with the AK. Was even moving, was even running, but one lucky bullet hit the head of his enemy, and actually the T's are rushing the construction site, and they will find at least one. Hutten goes down, Kabam and Rape. Two last man standing. The same scenario as it was in the previous round. But now they don't have Hutten anymore. Kabam tries to go for the defuse. Oh, but he goes down. Not to Snappy, but to Freeze. So was shot at from both sides. Has to go down from one of them. And it will be 16-10 in favor of Copenhagen Wolves. Maybe partly it was the fault of DDoS's. Maybe not. Anyway, the first map won by Copenhagen Wolves. It is going